there, my friends. I'm Dan Beer, Beer Home Team, and a lot of you were asking us about investing in real estate in this market, especially where it can be tough, okay? This is not the market to just go out and buy anything, but I've actually recently purchased a home as a rental property, a long-term rental. And I've done it for a few reasons, and I want to just talk through that with you. What have I purchased, why, and what's the long-term outlook with it? So what I went ahead and purchased is I identified an area where actually, Kyle, if you could actually scan over this way, I'm gonna go ahead and write up here. I've identified a part of town where you have neighborhoods right here where pricing has absolutely skyrocketed over the course of this market cycle. Yet right over here, you have what's a little bit of an older neighborhood, but still an awesome, extremely desirable neighborhood where pricing, has stayed a little bit flatter. Now it's risen. There's no doubt in the world. It's also come up in value, but not to the degree of these two neighborhoods. And so these two are simply newer, but they also carry Melrose while this one does not. All three neighborhoods are west of the 15. Great schools, great area, very highly desirable. The workforce, the jobs nearby is identical for all three, yet pricing has gone up disproportionately here compared to here. And so this is the neighborhood where I've just recently purchased a home. And just to give you an idea of it, I bought this investment property, $704,000 is what I paid. And yes, I'm gonna have to put a little bit of money into it. I'll still stay sub 750, but that identical home in these two neighborhoods would be anywhere from $1 million to $1.1 million. And so my thought process, especially as I look into the future for the next market cycle, is that because of the disproportionate pricing here, in the next market cycle, there's going to be folks that want to be in this area, want those schools, want that lifestyle, that are priced out of here, and so you're going to start seeing disproportionate pricing in this target area. I'm happy to share that with you if you're curious to see where is it, what's the plan, how do the numbers work. I'll map it all out for you. Just get a hold of us and let me know. I plan on purchasing anywhere from 1 to 3 homes in that neighborhood on a yearly basis, but there are more available than I could possibly buy. And so for our key clients, what we want to do is share the strategy. And if we can start to control enough inventory and control enough rents and improve the neighborhood and start to draw from these, we are going to do very well into the future. And the way I look at this as a long-term investment is that it's just such a beautiful thing, right? Real estate, if you think about it, I'm partnering with the bank, essentially. Okay, so I put 30% down. You can put 25% down, but let's just say you did 25%. I did 30. But if you did 25% down, the bank will give you 75%. And then some person comes and pays off your loan for you, and fast forward 30 years, you have no loan, you've been able to depreciate the property along the way. Okay, so I'll get about a $12,000 deduction a year for owning that property. I'll get the debt pay down from my client, or from my tenant, and fast forward 30 years, I have no loan on it. It could easily have doubled in price, and I just have a pile of cash sitting there. So what's my retirement plan? It's not my 401k, it's this right here. What's my college savings plan for my kids? I have 3 small children, all under the age of 4 years old, right there. So that's the way in which, if we can intelligently fund the right properties, get into them where they're going to cash flow. This cash flow is on day 1, by the way. If we can get into the right properties that will cash flow, and not just have the cash flow, but have the raising rents over time, have the debt pay down, have the depreciation, then we are building what I would define as generational wealth. You know, I look and say, what would it be like if my parents had a home a year that they started buying in their 30s? that are now all paid off and ready to, and then they're just living a huge life and ready to inherit those all to me and to my kids, right? Wouldn't that be cool? So I want to be able to provide that level of cool to my children, my grandchildren. If you want to discuss a strategy that fits you, it may not be this exact one, or for that exact asset class, depending on the funds you have to commit. But if you want to map out a strategy on where can you become the expert, because that's also the key. I know this area so darn well that I know exactly how I'm buying. And the saying is that you make money when you buy, not when you sell. So you have to buy it right. So where can we identify an area? You're welcome to share in mine, but it could be a lower price point, higher price point. Where can we identify an area where you are the expert and we become that expert with you? Because we're so honed in on buying and controlling inventory in a specific neighborhood, cul-de-sac, street, etc., where you can identify value just like that, jump all over it, and build generational wealth. That is the value we're looking to bring for you. Buying and selling homes, that's one thing. Building generational wealth for our clients, that really gets us going in the morning. So if we can serve you, let us know. This is the Beer Home Team. I'm Dan Beer, and this has been a pleasure being with you. Thanks so much for your time.